Give me a second. Give me a second. All right, we back. I'm ready to just finish watching the rest of this YouTube video I was watching earlier. If I really want to be honest, shout out to whoever joins the stream. Shout out to y'all. Yeah, shout out to whoever watched the stream. I'm just finna watch the rest of this. I'm gonna watch the rest of this video I was watching earlier. Might watch some other shit, but I was watching this Atlanta video earlier. Gonna watch the rest of that. Hit this bong. Today just gonna be a regular day. I'm just on stream. I don't even care about making YouTube videos out of this. I'm just finna be on stream, just doing whatever. Yeah, I'm just finna be on stream doing whatever, watching whatever. Join if you want to. You know, the title says it all the time. Turn the little shit in the back up. Nah, this light don't want to turn on. That's fucking crazy. Give me a second. Let's see. Does it turn on now? Yep. Now it turns the fuck back on. But now I was watching this beef in Atlanta, pause. Just like yesterday. I was watching this shit yesterday. I just stopped watching it. Cause no, I was watching that shit this morning, I believe. And then I stopped watching it because a nigga got tired. You need to go to fuck to sleep. Yeah, a nigga got tired yesterday. Had to go the fuck to sleep. So or this morning, so I stopped watching it. My bad. But we finna watch the rest of this shit. Hold on, give me a second. Let's figure some shit out. Let's figure some shit out. Ooh, ooh. Let's figure this shit out. I got water running in the background. I got water running in the background. Water running in the background. Ooh. And then I'm finna hit my bong. Roll up some weed. Ooh. Alright. Boom, we back. I think I'm gonna do that Boosie shit too. You know, talk about that Boosie shit that everybody talk about. Cause why the fuck nigga keep talking about PCP? Like, shut the fuck up. Let's see. We back to the shit that I was watching. I was watching it on my phone. I'm just shit low key interesting.
Coming off the tragic year of 2021 and 2022 for the 4-3 crew, nearly all eyes were on Atlanta's upcoming music scene for the wrongest reasons as the Atlanta
I think I want to go to the A one day. I've never been there, like at all. I've never been there. I low key want to go there one day.
station shooting made them considerably the hottest new things to come out the city. And with that, 2023 would be their year. You see, because in the middle of 2023, L5 would be released from juvenile to an environment he excelled in, crashing out. But instead of crashing out in the streets again, he'd begin crashing out in his songs, placed on house arrest for most of his 2023 run.
House arrest helped me.
It helps you. Okay, talk about how it helps you.
When I came home, so many young niggas was out here dying. If I wasn't on house arrest, I know I would have been outside in them same places where they all them parties did, and I know I would have been right there.
Yeah.
Because amongst being shouted out by his 4-3 crew to be freed countless times, that vow would become a reality as when L5 was released, he'd go on to release his first mixtape, No Mo Free L5, that became a cultural hit for the city. Going on to release songs like What's Up, Forever, and of course songs like Switch Street featuring Lil Drabo that I'll get into in a minute. Taking essentially the sound that was created by Auntie and Baby.
It's a song that this nigga got that I actually really like. I forgot the name of that shit, but it's on my YouTube. You know? Let me see. I think I got it on my Apple Music. Let's see. Let's open that Apple Music up. That iTunes up. Let's open that iTunes. I'm not gonna download it right now. I'm trying to see if I got that nigga song. Oh, 5. Nah, I think that shit got stuck. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm gonna close it. Oh yeah, that shit stuck. Back to the video though.
Baby Drill, pioneered by Perk, and amping their sound with steroids.
Oh nah, that shit froze on me. What the fuck? Let's see if I still got. Let's see if I still got some AI skills. It's not even AI skills. It's just alt control delete. Tax manager. Turn on that alt control delete tax manager. Right? No, this one. Nigga, I'm trying to close that bitch. Let's see. And task. There we go. At the end that bitch, cause what the fuck? Right, yeah. Let me look up that L5 song that I like. See. Okay, I guess. I don't know. This shit on my phone. I don't even know. L5. Okay, I don't know. Fuck it. Fuck it. I thought I had that shit, but I don't got that shit, so fuck it. Them niggas look like kids. Technically, them niggas is kids.
And over at the YC side of 4-3, going as hard as they ever did in music after gaining notoriety from murdering their op and little bro accidentally, You had figures like Drabo, Lil Ray, Lil Mon, and Kente all going harder in music, arguably reaching their peak. And with all this newly gained attention, the streets were looking for get back for Cam. And if those who loved Cam couldn't get to 4-3 in the streets, then they would do whatever it takes, even if it meant catching them behind the walls.
There is an investigation in how these apps keep people betting and under consumer protection laws.
Because on May 17th of 2023,
houses, like if you look up Morgan State, the housing, shit low-key look like that.
Notable and feared ex-henchman gang 5L member, now miraculously a 4L member, Draco, would dig a hole in a shower wall made of concrete and metal to get into the neighboring cell, which is where authorities say he stabbed Lil Rodney multiple times, who sustained superficial stab wounds to his upper body before being taken to the jail's medical unit.
Pieces of the decrepit Fulton County Jail now being fashioned into shanks and other weapons. The sheriff's office says an inmate dug that
See, this why I'm not going to
through a shower wall to...
I'm never going to jail. Y'all niggas can kiss my ass with that shit. Never in life.
Get into the cell block next door and stab another inmate with those shanks. That inmate suffered some small stab wounds and is recovering. The offending inmate will now face new criminal charges. The jail commander used this incident to double down on the jail's crumbling infrastructure
in an attempt to directly get back on one of the main suspects involved in their little bro's murder. However, Lou Rodney, seemingly living his best life down the road, would respond to the allegations, calling it cap.
Man, y'all niggas better hope y'all never get booked. I got 4 more years left, nigga. I'm finna see what y'all niggas come out when I say. Nigga, on Pete, that nigga.
Bro, niggas. See. And this why I'm watching this shit gonna lead into the Boosie topic. Cause why the fuck are we bragging about jail, my boy? Like, what, like, and I understand circumstances of niggas getting themselves into jail. Yes, I did say getting themselves into jail. Because there's a bunch of people that grew up in them circumstances, but didn't do the exact same shit them niggas did. So now you in the cell, and you bragging about that shit. You bragging about it and talking like that shit lit. My nigga, you locked up. You can't go outside. You can't go outside and fuck your bitch. You can't go outside and do none of that shit. You stuck in a fucking cell. The fuck is we doing? What is we talking about, gang? Like, let's just put 2 and 2 together. What the fuck is we talking about? Niggas is stupid.
Ain't come through no wall and do shit. That shit cap. All that shit is cap, gang. Your ass a bitch, gang. Stop. Bro, hey, look, Zay. On Pete, stop texting me, twin. For real, gang. Cause you gonna blow me. Stop texting me, twin. You wanna argue through a phone. I can't do nothing to your bitch ass through this phone, twin. Stop talking to me. When I catch you, gang, I'm gonna catch you, twin. But I just hope you're alive, twin, by the time I get out, twin. I pray to God. Every night I'm gonna pray that your bitch ass still alive. I'm telling you, I'm gonna show your ass, gang. All that fake shit, all that.
And on the other side of the YC crew in 4-3, alongside Lil Drabo, Lil Ray was making waves, eventually being deemed Atlanta's smoothest criminal. And would drop a song that would begin the downfall of things within the 4-3 crew and also be perhaps the biggest song Ray's dropped. Fuck Everybody, where Ray disses all his ops, being basically the entire city, then proceeding to diss the biggest YC rapper at that time, Lou Loaded, who was gaining heat for being friendly and fucking with the ops like 4L amidst the peak of the beef. Especially after a video would release of Young Brew 4L members catching Lil Loaded and saying fuck YC to his face without him doing anything.
UYC ain't it? I'm saying we're going UYC ain't it? Fuck YC nigga, what's on? We out here. What's on? Fuck YC nigga, what you trying to do? Come out here. Ah, that boy scared. Big boy shit, man. Get in there, man. Fuck around there, man. On Pete.
Ray's song, Fuck Everybody, becoming so big in Atlanta that it would then also become a cultural music piece for the city.
So niggas let they crew. But what? If he by himself and they like 3-4 deep, y'all think they not gonna spank him? Y'all think they not gonna spank him? He by himself, they 3-4 deep. Y'all think they not gonna spank that boy? So now, cause he not trying to get spanked, y'all let somebody else gaslight y'all into breaking up your crew. Yeah, niggas is stupid. Fuck is the loyalty? Where the loyalty at? Cause y'all niggas, to me, niggas is just dumb. No lie, niggas is just dumb. Ain't no loyalty, ain't no nothing out here. Niggas just out here doing whatever they want to do. Stupidity at its finest.
Walk around shit. Forward me, don't foil me. I'm from the west, not from the east. Ain't no key talking about forever. Big YC, I'm not 4-3.
So much so, it brung citywide attention to the Lil Loaded situation, where those like Young Thug's own son and daughter called him out for switching gangs.
Hop out the car, get it swinging that Drake. I got face and damn, I got tape.
So press on that glass so I won't leave a trace. Keep this gang and shine in your face.
I smoke dead dogs all day to the face. I smoking on high, got shot in the face.
And load you keep switching gangs, you a lame. And Billy your son D out, he ain't changed. And Billy a rat, he keep leaving state. And gonna get whacked, can't leave LA. Nothing gets smoke right here to the face. The gang, I'm never gonna change.
And amongst Lil Ray's peak in the music scene, where he dissed the whole city,
that shit was trash.
Things would suddenly take a dark turn for his career, as his dissing would make him nothing more than a bigger target. Because on May 28th of 2023, 11 days after the attempted get-back for Cam in Rice Street, a graduation party would be thrown in the parking lot of Benjamin E. Mays High School. Amongst the crew there was Lil Ray and other 4-3 affiliates, where apparently a little before 2:30 a.m. during the graduation, gunfire would suddenly erupt. 2 16-year-olds shot during this altercation. A male whose identity wasn't confirmed, and 16-year-old beloved resident from the Temp Breasia Powell, who was caught in the crossfire, later being transported to a nearby hospital where she would sadly lose her life.
We're understanding now that there was an exchange of gunfire.
Davita Huntley is the spokesperson for the family of Breasia Powell, the 16-year-old student shot and killed over the weekend outside of Benjamin E. Mays High School.
There have also been new revelations that there were other exchanges of fire that took place at the location as well, because there were over 130 suspected rounds fired.
According to officials, Powell was among several teens attending a party bus event, which made several stops before going to Mays High School for what police are calling an unauthorized gathering. APD says around 2:30 a.m., officers responding to calls of shots fired and found Powell and a 16-year-old boy shot. Both were rushed to the hospital, but Powell did not survive.
I ain't want to beat her out of everybody. She was friendly and cool like that. She was cool and stuff like that. I always be around her, and she always make people happy.
The case later going on to be granted a mistrial at the end of 2025. But amidst the controversy revolving the shooting, rumors began circulating that the shooting started from YC getting spent on. Whether it was the work of the Fast Money crew or unrelated events is unclear. But this situation would be just another tragedy in the city involving the YC crew. And over at the Fast Money side, Mr. Fast Money himself, Lil Tim, was freshly released from juvenile as well around the same time as L5, where Tim would begin dropping music.
See, that's the thing, they kids. They said this little nigga got released from juvenile in 2023. 2023 got released from juvenile. Like, what is we talking about? Like, let's really just think about it. Like, what is we talking about? He got released in 2023 from juvenile. That nigga was still 17. We fucking up. We fucking up. We is definitely fucking up.
Music and putting on for his crew in the name of
Just
Cam,
had to think about
going
that
the
shit.
hardest he's ever gone, where his first release since being Free being Drill Time, which is a heavy YC and 4-3 diss track while coming for everyone who dissed Cam, letting the people know that he and his Fast Money crew are coming for the scene, laying out the groundwork for their rise with figures like Baby Kia pushing them into superstardom, as I'll get into in a bit.
When I started my record label, the business side of things, taxes, finances, definitely felt like adulting. But just because you start your own thing doesn't mean you have to figure it out on your own. It's been amazing to have a TurboTax expert to bounce ideas off of. Even if I'm in the studio alone at night, I have access to a TurboTax expert. I handle the music, they handle the tax questions.
File your taxes with confidence with TurboTax experts.
File your taxes with confidence.
I haven't been to the grocery store in months because this delivery service offers hundreds of high-quality, non-GMO groceries and recipes that help me feel my best daily. Hungryroot is the easiest way to take all the stress and guesswork out of eating healthy. Think of it as having your own personal shopper and nutritionist in one, with curated groceries and personalized meal plans that ship straight to your door. Building the perfect grocery list takes seconds thanks to their smart cart technology. It customizes everything based on your health goals, dietary restrictions, and flavor preferences, with meals starting as low as $3.99 per serving. All of the recipes are incredibly delicious and easy to make, with most taking 20 minutes tops to put together. And with over 15,000 recipes and 20 plus dietary preferences, they have you covered on whatever you like to eat. Check out Hungryroot today and ditch the grocery store for good.
Oh no, I was looking at some shit on my phone. Low-key got distracted.
While over at the 952 side of 4-3, Anti was keeping his pace with his music releases, but he'd also find himself in baby mama problems with one of 4-3's rivals that also seemingly popped from the woodworks, Casket Gang. As I mentioned before, Casket Gang being originally a set of 9 Treys, or Billies from Lil Big's hood Campbellton Road, being the younger generation from their OG's Peter Roll gang that allegedly fell apart after members began snitching mixed with Ricos. However, we begin seeing Anti get involved in very personal drama, as apparently one of Casket Gang's most notorious members, Lil Throde 5, who went viral for his charges, would seemingly post himself holding Anti's son amongst back and forth dissing. Anti, obviously not feeling this, and would go on to confront Throde in his DM.
The fuck you mean what going on, nigga? Don't never touch my baby a day in your life, nigga. Fuck you to my nigga on my mama soul, y'all bitch ass nigga got me fucked up. I'ma show y'all pussy ass nigga on my baby, nigga. Bitch ass.
Man, fuck nigga, shut your bitch ass up. You ain't gonna show nobody shit, hoe ass nigga. Nigga, your ass nigga talking like niggas that hard, bro. You was a bitch, hoe ass nigga. You was a hoe, nigga. Stop acting like you like that. You know you're not like that, man. Pussy ass nigga. Nigga, that's I, baby. Fuck, nigga, you tripping.
But I'm not no net popping ass nigga, but just know it's up when you see me on my jet.
However, Casket Gang's beef with the 4-3 crew would, however, amplify once their top member Lil Meat responded to raise dis.
My nigga, like you can't be taking pictures with no nigga son, man. It's not even no son. You can't be taking no picture with no nigga kid, man. Because that's diabolical. And I don't even like using, that's a lie. I do like using big words like that. But that's not even a big word. So let me just shut the fuck up about that before somebody on the internet tell me that's not even a big word. But yeah, that's fucking diabolical. That's cause for war forever.
Towards him on Fuck Everybody, where Meat claims their beef probably started after Lil Ray tried to get a set-up hoe to backdoor him. Meat, being a Goodfellas or GF mob member within Casket Gang, as we find out, had close ties to the henchman 5L gang, as allegedly Lil Meat is shown in a disturbing video pistol whipping and robbing a civilian after the victim allegedly told.
Say you love Casket Gang.
Stay right there.
Say you love Casket Gang.
Say you love Casket Gang.
I love Casket Gang. I love Casket Gang.
Say you love Casket Gang shit. Say you love shit.
Push your door, nigga.
Nonetheless, Casket Gang's rivalry with the 952 crew would get consequential. However, this time for Rack Baby, when he would run into Lil Throde 5 in jail after allegedly being involved in backdooring his own homie. Because on May 22nd of 2023, Atlanta police got a call around 11 p.m. about a person shot at 2555 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway in the Center Hill area, where Club Bankhead is located. When police arrived, 2 people were shot, including a victim who was rushed to the hospital, and the other victim being 18-year-old Dominic McKibbins, better known as Wild Child, who was sadly be pronounced dead at the scene.
Just in tonight, there is new video from the night of a deadly shootout in Atlanta's Center Hill neighborhood. So take a look. This is the same video police used to demonstrate violence as part of their summer gang initiative we just told you about at the top of the hour. So now officers say they need your help identifying anyone in this video. It's from the night of May 22nd on Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway outside of Club Bankhead.
If you're struggling with depression and not feeling the comfort and peace that you need, I invite you to meet with missionaries like me from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We can help you lift your burdens through the gospel of Jesus Christ, which has a
The nigga is walking around with a Drake cash.
18-year-old Dominic McKibbins was shot and killed on that scene. Police say 7 suspects are facing murder and aggravated assault charges. So far, we can confirm 3 of the 7 have been identified and taken into custody. There's now a $2,000 reward for information leading to the other suspects' arrest.
Apparently, this situation allegedly happened after Wild Child, an affiliate of 952, would shoot 952 Lil Quinn, who gained a buzz in the city alongside Anti after dropping his song Doing That Dissing. Apparently, on that night, the 952 crew would catch Wild Child and retaliate for that shooting, with rumors stating that Rack Baby went in Wild Child's pockets after he was tragically shot, eventually going on to be arrested for the shooting, but with a minor tampering with evidence charge. This is when Rack would get locked up and run into Casket Gang, already having a feared reputation behind the walls for putting their rivals' heads in toilets. Rack Baby, however, unfortunately getting done the same way.
Oh, never mind. It's right on the video. It's right on the video. I ain't even just have to go do too much. It's already on there. They got that boy legs dangling in the air. That boy shit finna come down. Y'all boys see that boy leg come down? This shit get real. This shit get real. This shit get real. Good. Lil Rat doubt me up, so it ain't no smoke with Lil Rat. Lil Rat got his head put in the toilet. It ain't no beef with him, so it's no reason for me to beef with him. He should want to do something to me. We put his head in the toilet. You smell me? So it ain't no beef with Lil Bro. But yeah, as I was saying, ain't no nigga did shit. Lil Birdie ran when I seen his ass. Hopped out the car with his stick on God.
It is also to mention that Lil Meat and Casket Gang were clicked up with a notorious clique of Bloods and mob members just like Casket Gang, known as 4-Way or 8L, meaning 8 letters standing for Bankhead, the hood 4-Way is originally from, who would form after the death of their homeboy Rel. 4-Way would quickly gain notoriety and become rivals to the 4-3 crew after their top rapper Teflon Zay began dissing L5's closest friends like Baby Hot, Diamond, and Turk, and would also appear in a video that went viral of what seemingly appears to be a 4-Way member shooting an op for claiming 4-Way K.
Oh shit, he got blit, ain't doing shit. He got blit, y'all. Oh, he just shot that boy ass. Oh shit, watch out, chill out, watch out. Oh, your ass, he shot you, gang. Oh, watch out, gang, what the hell you doing, twin?
4-Way's Teflon Zay and L5 going on to have a massive diss war over music amongst both of their peaks. And meanwhile, while the 4-3 crew were flourishing in 2023, controversially or not, their main rivals Fast Money would also eventually reach their status as well. Because towards the end of the year, Tim had convinced his homeboy Baby Kia to begin rapping, not knowing that this would change their lives forever. Because amongst the popularity, Crash Out music and Atlanta drill was gaining worldwide due to the 4-3 crew, where niggas like L5 were screaming on songs. BK and Tim would take the opportunity this new wave brung to the city, putting new young niggas on essentially parodying the sound their ops created, over-exaggerating all the bits, taking advantage of the new reputation these Atlanta young niggas had, and essentially created characters within the ATL drill scene. BK began releasing iconic trillers of his snippets, with this new erratic character making him blow up over the internet, such as one of the iconic trillers he did dissing L5 for dissing Ola Cam and keep mentioning the scooter he was riding on.
If I keep high behind computers, pop up in his sleep and keep on talking about that scooter. Mama
From the buzz BK had garnered from these disses, he'd go on to capitalize it after releasing songs like BK Back. Then Let's Play a Game, where he raps over distorted 808s about torturing and decapitating niggas. Then off that momentum heading into 2024 would go on to release OD Crashin' that would skyrocket his career into superstardom. Casuals not realizing that the OD Crashin' track being a direct diss track to the 4-3 crew, as he goes on to diss Anti before mentioning he's smoking Baby Hot. The track officially deeming BK the face of crash out music. BK and Anti going on to also have a diss war over songs from that track, as BK, Tim, and the Fast Money crew were quickly climbing ladders beyond the ones 4-3 pioneered. And amongst Fast Money's rise, this too would also make BK nothing more than a target. Because we begin hearing news that BK was allegedly shot by one of the city's most feared amongst the young niggas. A demon from Carver Homes whose gang story is connected to some of the most tragic teen deaths in the city, that demon being Lil Duke.
From what I see when niggas talk.
You see, the villages at Carver, formerly known as Carver Homes, arguably one of Atlanta's most notorious projects in Zone 3, would be redeveloped in hopes of attracting mixed-income families and getting rid of the crime, violence, and drug wars that had once plagued the community. And for a decade, it would actually work, within its initial purpose at least. See, when Carver Homes was officially demolished in the early 2000s, it would take nearly an entire decade for the villages at Carver to complete its first set of new housings available to residents, with the full completion being final around the early 2020s. Sadly, the new residents of this renovated area who believed the new Carver Homes would be a great place to raise their families would soon begin seeing similar, if not sadder, headlines of the same violence as the community's predecessor. Because amongst the many efforts in changing Atlanta from the gritty notoriety it's gained, the city would never suspect the city to eventually evolve into full-fledged gangland with multiple gang wars spilling out across the streets after the murder of infamous rapper Lil Marlo. As I mentioned in my previous video, Lil Marlo, or Rude, was the next big rapper coming out of QC, being Lil Baby's best friend. But he was also one of the top members of what would become the most hated clique at the time, PFK, or 3L. The city would never be the same again. The city's gang politics would inevitably change. Drill music was at its peak, with no older figures to genuinely lead the younger generation onto a different path they've chosen. ATL would have a young nigga epidemic, violence in Atlanta spiking, with officials claiming the beginning of the 2020s became some of the most deadly years and decades for the city. Atlanta wasn't a city about getting money anymore, or being player. It was about crashing out. Who was the most throwed? Who has the most rank? And in the city's new violent politics regarding tragedies, deaths, and gangs that youths fully don't understand, the new Atlanta was born. And it is within these very circumstances that a young Duke would have to spend his childhood growing up in.
Well, how would you say it was coming up in Atlanta for you?
You know, that shit, it was fun. That shit was like crazy. Seen a lot of crazy shit growing up out here.
So you from like the inner city, outside?
Yeah, I'm from Zone 3. Like Pittsburgh, Carver Home, shit like that.
Okay, sure.
Now, not a lot is known about Lil Duke's early life, unless you know the nigga personally, but it is said that he was a normal kid with occasional troubles, but didn't really begin getting active until the age of 16, which would roughly be around the year 2023 and 2024. At the peak of the city's drill scene between the young generation, not to mention a tragedy that probably affected a young Duke early. The senseless 2022 murder of a beloved Villages at Carver resident, 15-year-old Terrence Denson, better known to friends and family as Rock. Now, Rock wasn't a gangbanger or even a troubled kid. He had his occasional problems expected of a youth growing up in these areas, but being related to and growing up in a family full of rolling 60s Crips, Rock would become like a brother to many around the Zone 3 area as he was all about his money. Being a beloved resident in the city's Zone 3, it would absolutely break the hearts of the community when on June 21st of 2022, Rock would be chilling in the driver's seat of a car at an apartment complex on the 1900 block of Gardenwood Courts. Apparently, Rock was also with his ex-girlfriend at the time when he would get into an argument with someone at the complex, who would proceed to draw their weapon.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, Nina just built an app.
Impossible.
Nina can't.
And shoot Rock multiple times. The suspect would be identified days later, who would turn out to be a 19-year-old member of the Lincoln Blood Gang, Ahmaud Royal, who also goes by Maud. Now, Rock's tragic death would be one of many instances that would have probably mentally affected Duke and made him desensitized to the senseless violence occurring around his environment. Having to grow up in this new Atlanta, Duke probably felt like he had no other choice but to jump off the porch to not only make ends meet, but to be accepted in these crime-ridden and gang-infested environments. And it is shortly after this time that Duke would begin getting active in the streets, going on a spree of striking, robberies, and shootings that would garner him a feared reputation in all under a year, granting him Atlanta's Rookie of the Year, becoming perhaps one of the realest 4L rappers in the city. So without further ado, let's go over the many instances that would make Lil Duke arguably Atlanta's most feared. On June 19th of 2022, just 5 months before Baby Hot and Ola Cam was tragically killed, Atlanta police responded to reports of a person shot at the Villages at Carver complex on Maury Avenue around 12:25 p.m. When police arrived, they found 2 teenagers suffering from gunshot wounds. Both were pronounced dead at the scene. Police have identified them as 18-year-old Neerick Olds and 17-year-old Jamarcase McCrary, better known to friends and family as Fat and Reckless, who we would come to find out both repped a one-gang set of the 4L Alliance, made notorious by rappers like 21 Savage, Young Nudy, and Baby Drill. Now, as I mentioned in my previous video, the 4L Alliance is a gang of bloods that originally formed on and ran the East Side, with many subsets and cliques formed under them. However, we would learn that the Villagers at Carver, infamously known as Carver Homes, would become a blood-dominated hood, with 4L making these new Carver Homes their territory. This new generation 4L clique formed would go by Cleanup Crew. And if you asked anyone close to Fat and Reckless, they'd probably tell you themselves that they both were big cleanup.
Cleanup Crew, that's the clique, that's rap shit, that's just the bro.
Hell no, it's your family.
Family, okay, yeah. So that
It's
shit.
just like, so we get like the shit we started with our bro, like, and then just like, this shit, they ain't here no more. So this shit, they living through us.
They ain't here no more. You had some people in the crew who passed away?
Yeah. I lost 2 of my brothers on one day. And then I lost another brother a couple days after that. Yeah.
As you can also see in throwback videos, Duke chilling with Reckless, dissing arguably Atlanta's most hated young nigga that got shot by YC's Lil Drabo, Lil Deco, even though they used to be clicked together under 4-3 before the fallout. Now the killer behind Fat and Reckless would turn out to be 18-year Zarshay Barnes Jr. After cameras caught his ass in 4K running away from the crime scene, police soon issuing a warrant for his arrest. Now the deaths of Fat and Reckless would be a tragedy that would not only affect Duke mentally, But it is from this very incident where we begin seeing deadly headlines in this new Carver Homes. The villages at Carver unfortunately regressing to the same violence as once before. But instead of being territory fought over for drugs and turf, it would become a haven of gang banging and death. Because it is unclear what really caused this next situation to, but a year later after their senseless deaths on June 19th of 2023. A vigil would be thrown in remembrance of Fat and Reckless by their community, before things would suddenly escalate to deadly gunfire. As officers responded to the 200 block of Maury Avenue after reports of a shooting around 6:30 p.m., residents of the villages of Carver would come into complete shock to find out 2 other teens was shot again during a vigil of 2 previous teens killed, with one of the teens shot in the 2023 incident unfortunately passing away, who would turn out to be 18-year-old Quentin Burgess, also known as Red. Now the shooters would quickly be identified again, as they would also be caught in 4K. With a PD and investigators going on to release it to help with their arrests, and soon apprehending the shooting suspects whose names weren't released to the public. However, the streets knew.
On Friday the 13th.
You shouldn't have called out to it. You shouldn't have let it in.
Undertone.
You could qualify for up to $300,000 or more in compensation. If your child was sent sexual images or material, estimated compensation is between $25,000 and $50,000. If your child was coerced to share explicit content and is now in treatment, estimated compensation is between $50,000 and $300,000. For cases involving physical abuse or attempted assault by someone they met on the game.
As soon we begin seeing a prominent member of the Demon Avenue clique, blazers on the city's south, whose younger generation goes by Smack 5 Gang, M5, or Smack 5 Gang M5, who would eventually grant bail for this situation and gain a similar feared notoriety as Duke in the coming years. You see, Red was a feared shooter of the Goodfellas Mob or GF Mob gang, who I mentioned in my previous video as being the original Jailborn Street gang repped by Lil Malo's PFK before they fell out. Red, who would eventually go on to click up with a crew of young niggas from Stone Mountain Central Drive called High Crew on the east side. Now things would rather take a darker turn as you go down the rabbit hole, discovering that Red might have died attempting to slide on anyone affiliated with Duke's crew, because a couple hours before he was tragically killed, Red would post a disturbing image on his story reading simply, "Hell," or jail, a war cry, a vow that would soon be shouted out by other members of his crew before sliding. Like the Time I Crew rapper La Slide would post something disturbingly similar after he posted himself getting spine torn by a 310 gang rapper and adolescent assassin. Doo-wop. Now, as I stated previously, Smack 5 Gang's M5 would go on to beat the body of Red as he would post his paperwork and celebrating shortly after he got out. And what would come next would be shocking, as M5 would go on to pursue music with this new reputation, where he disses and mentions the murder of Red subliminally multiple times, like in his infamous song Do or Die, where he mentions that there's a stain in Carver Homes, before going on to allegedly describe how Red got killed, saying he got hit in the shoulder, then cried, or in his track To Glock's One Demon. The title itself directly a diss to Red, who infamously went by To Glock's, which would eerily be what he was sliding with, and ultimately ended up dying with, as seen in a picture captured at the scene that is too graphic to show on YouTube, where M5 declares that he's the real 2 Glocks 1 Demon and that Red was the fake one. Now all of this just shows you the tragedy of what Duke's Hood, the villages at Carver, would become, and how him and his gang's actions in the streets would make the area one of the deadliest blocks in the city's Zone 3. From whether it's robbing Lil Deco, Atlanta's most hated, running off on the TG Hellraiser, L5 himself, or even allegedly robbing YouTuber Ungato Matthew, it's no doubt that Duke has garnered a notorious reputation amongst the young niggas in Atlanta.
What's one of the biggest misconceptions you feel like people have about Lil Duke, if they got one? Cause Lil Duke poppin', so like, what's one misconception you think that folk may have about Lil Duke?
I feel like everybody feel like I want to rob them. Shit, like that's like yo out there. Like I don't want to rob everybody, man.
Duke's troubled history of robbing some of the most poppin' names in the city would only be the groundwork for the amount of trouble he would begin getting into in the coming years. Because on November 2nd of 2024, officers responded to the area of Ted Turner Drive and John Portman Boulevard, where they received reports of several vehicles being broke into. And during the investigation, APD got surveillance video that showed the suspects in a 2016 Chevy Silverado breaking into multiple cars before driving away. Police shared a be on the lookout notice with other officers in the area, and that's when things would go wrong for Duke here. Police were able to quickly locate the vehicle via aviation unit, where they spotted it driving recklessly away from the scene. What comes next would be probably one of Duke's most iconic moments, as he then decides to bail out the vehicle, eventually stumbling upon train tracks.
Let me see your fucking hands! Get on the ground! Get the fuck on the ground! Get the fuck on the ground! Put your fucking hands. I want you to fucking move. I ain't going nowhere. I still got it. Now you want to get him custody? Get him in custody right now. We'll find you. Great thing. Just tell me what I was cutting each other, but. Can you take the video? Relax, bro. I got you. We don't need rocks, bro. I'm about to get you up. Relax. I can't breathe if you're running, man. Hey, radio, go ahead and start the purple 4. He's gonna need some oxygen. You alright? Relax. You got any weapons on you?
Just give me, is that location where he's detained at?
I haven't been to the grocery store in over a year, but I'm eating healthier than ever. Here's how I did it. Meal planning used to be such.
What, relocate? Relocate? Let me put the AC on for you. I'll be down. Yeah. But come on. Before you do that, let me double lock the handcuffs because I will close on your wrist, alright?
You can't take them all on me?
Now Duke would soon be released from jail from this incident, ultimately ending up being caught with 7 charges, including 2 felonies. But after the video was released, Duke was at the height of his notoriety, and this would only make him more valid in the eyes of the criminals around him, as he would later go live on Instagram explaining the entire situation to his fans and friends.
Well, he up the state, niggas say what they want to, man. I'm in a dually, I just sit in the car, gang. What the hell? Like 4 guns. Bro just gave you up, yeah, hell yeah. I was running for like 4 miles, what the hell? They don't show all that on there. They keep skipping the game. I had hopped on the moving train, all that.
However, Duke's careless acts would fortunately come to a halt as not even 4 months after his arrest. He would encounter the police again, but this time with serious consequences, as the law were now unto him. Because on February 1st of 2025, the APD would put out a notice where during a traffic stop on Terra Boulevard, Duke would then take the police on an intense high-speed chase, where it was revealed that Duke was responsible for the murder of 27-year-old Zachary Rainwater, who was tragically found dead inside a blue Ford Fiesta in Zone 3's Pittsburgh area after being shot several times. That occurred on September 15 of 2024.
Police say led a dangerous high-speed chase last night. Vincent Steele, currently wanted out of the city of Atlanta for murder. You're taking a look at him on your screen right there. We're told Georgia State Patrol first tried to stop Steele in Atlanta, but he fled to Clayton County. Sheriff Levon Allen says his team caught up with him on Terra Boulevard, but Steele sped off again, hitting over 100 miles per hour before crashing into another driver in Fayette County. Investigators say he is armed and dangerous. If you see him, do not approach. Call 911 right away.
And with Duke's new reputation of not just being a striker and robber, but even a feared killer, we begin to see more rumors. Allegations with Duke's name popping up in other murders. However, there's no evidence for any of that and are just speculation. Nonetheless, 4 months later, publicly on the run from murder and escaping GSP, which is no easy feat, Duke would go on to release a music video for his song Voodoo, where he goes on to mention that he's done striking or breaking into cars as he's on to scamming, following on to taunt the Atlanta police, actively looking for him, reenacting the chase where he was caught after breaking into cars, and after that, you'd barely see him on any social media platforms, as he was actively avoiding law until this very day. Now all of this would culminate Duke into becoming known as Atlanta's very own TK, an Arlington, Texas-based rapper, who blew up with a similar case to Duke, committing murder while going on the run and leaving videos. Hints for the police, merely taunting them. But fortunately for Duke, he's yet to be caught for his crimes, as Lord only knows the punishment that waits for him if he ever does face justice. So as of 2026, Lil Duke might actually be Atlanta's most feared.
That nigga probably dead somewhere.
Now in the beginning of 2025, the Atlanta PD would issue out arrest warrants for gang members responsible for a shooting that occurred at an apartment complex on July 2nd, 2024 at Spark Street in the Oakland City neighborhood, where around 12:30 a.m. police arrived upon 3 young boys shot. Officers found one 30-year-old boy dead at the scene. The other 13-year-old and an 11-year-old were rushed to the hospital, where the second 13-year-old succumbed to his injuries. Later, both boys that sadly passed being identified as Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman.
13-year-olds died during that shooting, Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman. A 12-year-old, that's Davis's brother, he is actually being treated at the hospital and expected to survive. A family member told us that he was shot in the foot and he's just getting out of surgery. We're told that a family member is there at the hospital waiting for him to wake up so that they can speak with him and support him. We're also told by a family member of one of the boys that this was actually the young victim's birthday. So instead of celebrations, families are going to be making arrangements.
However, things would suddenly take a shocking turn as authorities published an article stating that this shooting was in fact connected to one of the world's most popular rappers, Lil Baby. Hailing from the Oakland City neighborhood where the boys died, police confirming the shooting was in fact retaliation for back and forth, violence between Lil Babies for PF or for Pockets Full crew, and a Goodfellas mob clique from the Etheridge Courts projects.
Enemy battleship sunk. Enemy battleship detected. Enemy submarine spotted. Attention, reporting the target position. Enemy heavily damaged.
As I mentioned before, being home to many gangs and sets affiliated with the Wicked West's very own 4-3 crew. This GF set would be known as OMF, or Only My Family, and would turn out that the beef officially began after crews from Etheridge, like the MCF or Money Comes First, crew broke into popular Chicago rapper Lil Durk's home in a viral invasion where his girlfriend India shot back.
Alright, then what happened?
So, Local got asleep. She got up.
Okay.
My security always leaves a gun like around the house.
Okay.
So I hit a break in. She grabbed a gun.
Okay.
We creep by the stairs.
Okay.
That's when we see like 2-3 people like lifting their head up.
Okay.
That's when the shooting happened. They ran.
Okay.
So when I ran up, I told her to go in the closet. And she dropped the gun. So I grabbed the gun, laid on the back porch.
Okay.
And that's how I sent them to the gate.
Okay. Now, did they shoot at you or did you shoot at them? You shot at them? Did they?
They shot too.
Did they shoot first at you? That's what I'm asking. So they shot first. Okay.
For PF, or for Pockets Fool being the crew, Lil Baby would establish at the start of his career. Being a branch of the original notorious crew, Bank, First Pay Later, or 6FPL, that was formed of rolling 60s Crips in Oakland City. Once Baby blew up, becoming a rap superstar, he'd eventually get clicked up with Lil Durk and become rap industry giants. However, amongst OTF's move to Atlanta, they'd quickly get into trouble in this city, as well as on March 2021. OTF affiliate Buna would be arrested at Atlanta's Cumberland Mall after being responsible for shooting 3 MCF members, with a 6-year-old child also being struck in this incident.
Left here around 9 o'clock tonight. As you mentioned, it all unfolded right in front of the Buffalo Wild Wings, where detectives had the parking lot blocked off for hours. A child shot in the leg here. We're going to give you a look at that video showing a young boy sitting on the curb, bleeding with a look of fear on his face. Someone next to him applying pressure to his leg. He's one of 2 victims. The other person shot in the foot. Cobb County police say at least 2 people, possibly more, were shooting at each other. In the aftermath, that child and another person injured. Then 2 suspect cars took off. The motive is unclear, but a restaurant employee told us there appeared to be a verbal dispute among a few men in the parking lot.
As rumors begin stating that one of the alleged burglars that invaded Durk's home because of the mall shooting being Beloved Etheridge, and MCF member Marcus Holland, better known as Big Mark, who was then tragically murdered, suspiciously just a month after Durk's home was invaded. Atlanta PD stating that Baby's very own For PF crew was responsible behind this hit. It is then on June 29th of 2024 where an OMF member known as Trevante Turner would also tragically be murdered by the 4 PF crew, which would
You shot at them? Did they?
They shot too.
Did they shoot first at you? That's what I'm asking. So they shot first. Okay.
For PF, or for Pockets Fool being the crew, Lil Baby would establish at the start of his career. Being a branch of the original notorious crew, Bank, First Pay Later, or 6FPL, that was formed of rolling 60s Crips in Oakland City. Once Baby blew up, becoming a rap superstar, he'd eventually get clicked up with Lil Durk and become rap industry giants. However, amongst OTF's move to Atlanta, they'd quickly get into trouble in this city, as well as on March 2021. OTF affiliate Buna would be arrested at Atlanta's Cumberland Mall after being responsible for shooting 3 MCF members, with a 6-year-old child also being struck in this incident.
Left here around 9 o'clock tonight. As you mentioned, it all unfolded right in front of the Buffalo Wild Wings, where detectives had the parking lot blocked off for hours. A child shot in the leg here. We're going to give you a look at that video showing a young boy sitting on the curb, bleeding with a look of fear on his face. Someone next to him applying pressure to his leg. He's one of 2 victims. The other person shot in the foot. Cobb County police say at least 2 people, possibly more, were shooting at each other. In the aftermath, that child and another person injured. Then 2 suspect cars took off. The motive is unclear, but a restaurant employee told us there appeared to be a verbal dispute among a few men in the parking lot.
As rumors begin stating that one of the alleged burglars that invaded Durk's home because of the mall shooting being Beloved Etheridge, and MCF member Marcus Holland, better known as Big Mark, who was then tragically murdered, suspiciously just a month after Durk's home was invaded.
I would say it's like having another producer in the room that knows exactly what your song.
To be honest, I'm tired of this shit. When I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna get back on the stream shit. Good night. Adios.